my wrist, a treasure I hold dear. Titanium strong, light as air. Light as a feather, yet built to last. Time's a river flowing fast. Oh, Trident Lumiere, you're the holy grail I wear. Slim and sleek on my wrist, glowing ceramic bridge. Give the loom game a twist, and the best part is how it feels on my wrist. Finish so fine it rivals the best. Christopher Ward has built a strong name. Certified chronometer keeping time. This microprint just killed the game. Underwater glows insane. It glows so intensely I can't complain. Handsome strength, a work of art. The value is off the charts. Oh, Trident Lumiere, you're the holy grail I wear. Slim and sleek on my wrist, glowing.
This is the watch that when it released 8 or 9 months ago, that put Christopher Ward on the map for me personally. I saw this watch, I saw the ad, and my heart leapt out of my chest. Then I saw the size, 41 millimeters, and my heart sank right back down into my stomach. Another dream watch made for a woman's slender wrist. My comfort zone, as if I haven't mentioned it in every single video, is 42 to 44 millimeters in diameter, because I don't want you to think when I say I want a larger watch, I don't want you to think I'm asking for 46, 48, 50, 52 millimeters. Nothing of the sort. I'm a 42 to 44 guy. I'll rarely do a 46 millimeter or even a 48 millimeter if they're exceedingly special. But under 42 millimeter, as an American man, feels like a woman's watch or a kid's watch. It looks silly small. So, between the fact that it was such a small size and the fact that Christopher Ward was sold out by the time I finally saw it, I ended up reviewing the C60 Trident 42, and I wholeheartedly fell in love with it. The quality was far, far, far beyond the asking price. The level of finishing rivaled that of many prestige brands, and the design was downright sleek and sexy because of this light catcher case. It's compact, it's very, very slim, and I love the fact that the dial is so close to the underside of the crystal. That's something that I really, really like the look of these days. And the thing is, it wore a little bit larger than it really was. It was a 42 that wore like a 43 or slightly bigger because of the large dial opening and slim bezel. It looked a little bit bigger. It was a professional grade diver that was slim and easy to daily wear. It was perfect. But it wasn't the Lumiere that I was lusting after. I had to wait because they had sold out so fast. Now, as of today, there's a second wave of pre-orders going that shows mid-September 2025 delivery. On the titanium Badr-style bracelet that you're seeing here, you're shelling out $2,390. And that might make you say, ouch, but take into consideration that Christopher Ward is currently filling the void left behind by Tudor when they suddenly raised their prices a few years ago to astronomical levels. Tudor was always a great $3,000 substitute for those wanting a Rolex but couldn't quite afford one. Now they're the $5,000 substitute for Rolex. I mean, it's ridiculous. The Pelagos is one that I want very, very, very badly. But it's $5,000. And I look at $5,000 and go, I have spent less than $5,000 on Breitlings. I have spent less than $5,000 on Omegas. I have spent only a hair more than $5,000 on other really great prestigious watches that I've had a chance to own. And I just have a hard time dropping $5,000 on a Tudor. It just doesn't feel right to me. That's the price a Submariner used to be. So now for $2,400 in all titanium, in this insanely slim case that's under 11 millimeters in thickness, with this level of beauty, this is an absolute no-brainer. Let's get this set up on my little stand here. So as to the review, yeah, I love it. Positive review, 2 thumbs up. Pushy sales pitch? No need. This thing sells itself. And it's not my place to sell you on anything in any video anyway. Surprising fact, it looks like a Pelagos in person, but it doesn't in pictures. I didn't expect that at all. Now, obviously, it's not an homage. It wasn't designed to look like it, but there is some familiarity to it that will remind you of the Pelagos, which is like that, the fume dial, the very slim bezel, and the size. And obviously being all titanium, that different color temperature to the metal. Any negatives? It should be 1 to 3 millimeters larger. Now let's talk about the specs very quickly. We're going to move you over here and pop those specs up on the screen. Your case is all titanium at 41 millimeters. Your thickness of that beautiful light catcher case is under 11 millimeters. It is 10.85 millimeters thick. Your lug-to-lug distance, that's how it spans across your wrist, is 47.9 millimeters. For me, I prefer a 50 lug-to-lug. And it has an automatic helium escape valve right there for all of the saturation divers that are subscribed to my channel. Your water resistance is 300 meters. Now, realize this, folks, under 11 millimeters thick, and it's 300 meters water resistant. Your bracelet is all solid titanium, 22 millimeters, tapering to 16 millimeters, with a glide lock dive suit extension inside of the clasp. You've got a sapphire crystal. It's an automatic movement. It's the Sellita SW300 with an autonomy of 56 hours, but it doesn't end there when we talk about the movement, because as you see right here, get my fat finger out of the way. As you see right here, it says chronometer on the dial, because this is a COSC certified chronometer. I'll come back to that in a second. For those of you that are newer to watches and need that explained, I'm happy to do it. The crown threads on this are so smooth, just buttery. Daddy. Feels so good. And the movement of the bezel is great too. Maybe a quarter notch back play, and that's it. Very, very, very little. Everything here is luxury, even though it's a tool diver design, but it just feels high end. It's like picking up that $5,000 Tudor or picking up that $12,000 Submariner. There's something about just holding it, touching it, feeling it where you know you've got a high degree of quality. Now, let's talk about the indices and the hands on this dial. What in the world is this crazy loom? This is called Globalite XP, which is made by Xenoprint, which are the makers of Superluminova. There are 17 specially shaped blocks of Globalite set onto this dial, and they glow like crazy. Look how tall they are. Look how thick they are. Those are individual ceramic blocks that glow. They say it contains, or that each of these contain 5 times the lume of any previous trident, and it costs about 4 times more to produce than a regular dial, according to their website. Now, that number of 17 blocks includes the indices as well as all the blocks that are being used to create the Twin Flags logo up there at the top. Now, here's something a little bit crazy that you don't know until you've worn the watch. The blue in the Fume dial seems to glow in the right conditions, even though there is no lume in that dial whatsoever. That blue dial does not glow. Let me remind you of that. But in just the right lighting, in very, 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 very light lighting, the glow coming off the ceramic is just enough to illuminate the surface of that dial, where the center of the dial, that's the lighter blue, it appears a little bit brighter. They're so bright, they're actually helping that pebble textured dial glow faintly. That is absolutely wild. Now, the Dreamcatcher case is only 10.85 millimeters in thickness, as I had mentioned earlier. Let's get all up in there again. I had a hard time choosing whether I wanted the black Fume dial or the blue. And I thought, for sure, the blue has got to be the only way to go. And then when I received the watch and saw that it looked so much like the Tudor Pelagos, I was like, oof. If I would have done the same black dial that's in the Tudor, it might have reminded me even more of the Tudor. I might have fallen even more in love with it, if that's even possible. Now let's focus again on the slimness of this case. This is ridiculously slim for a 300-meter water-resistant diver. It is the slimmest dive watch that Christopher Ward has ever made, and it's one of the slimmest dive watches that money can buy currently today. Then you get into the materials chosen. All titanium for the case, case back, bracelet, clasp, outer bezel, crown guards, everything titanium, which means it's completely hypoallergenic. If you've ever worn a watch and got a little bit of a red rash on your wrist because you were allergic to the nickel content in stainless steel, you don't have to worry about that here. And it's also completely impervious to any type of rust or corrosion from water or pretty much anything else. And just look at how gorgeous this is.
Damn, real smooth.
There isn't a bad angle.
Oh, yeah.
I love looking at it like this, seeing how shallow the dial is, but how thick each of those ceramic lume markers are. It's ridiculously cool. Now, inside keeping the time is a high-grade Sellita SW300 automatic movement that is COSC chronometer certified, as I touched upon earlier. There is that movement. Now, it's a base caliber movement. The only decoration here is going to be on the rotor, and that's decoration that I do believe Christopher Ward did themselves. So, for those of you that are unfamiliar with what the COSC is, the COSC is a Swiss government official. That if you're going to make watches and you're trying to make the most accurate mechanical automatic watches in the world, you prove that to people by regulating that movement and then sending batches of that movement out to the COSC. They are completely independent. They are not controlled by the Swatch Group or LVMH or anything. They're a completely separate entity, government run, and every movement you submit to them, you have to pay for testing. So you're not just going to throw shit at the wall to see what sticks, because every movement you send them is costing you money, whether it passes or fails. And they're going to test it in various temperatures and various positions for accuracy. So in some cases, it'll be crown up or crown down, dial up, dial down, upside down, right side up, in various different temperatures. And it has to run, from what I recall, it's been a long time since I've talked about this. It used to be between minus 3 seconds per day and plus 2 seconds per day, or something very close to that. You had a mean variance of 5 seconds per day that it has to fall within to be COSC certified as a chronometer. Now, it doesn't mean a heck of a lot, because they're testing the movement itself, not encased in the watch. So it's been regulated. It's very, very delicate. They send it to them basically in egg crates. They test the movements, and they send the movements back to the manufacturer. That manufacturer then cases up their movement. Then they box it. They ship it off to whatever distributor or whatever it is, off to a retailer or directly to the consumer. And in all that time, there could be just enough jolting and shifting around that it may not be as accurate as it was when it was a standalone movement being tested by the COSC. But you've got the best possible jumping off point. That's the difference. Because you could say, well, if it's not guaranteed in that way, then why does it matter? Because you're starting with it as being the most accurate movement that it can possibly be. So by the time you get it, it's going to be stellar. It may not always run within those specs, but it's going to be damn close. And the SW300 is great also because it's basically the substitute for the ETA 2892, which is a slimmer movement than the 2824 or the Sellita SW200. So they're able to put it in this case and get that much slimmer case. Because from what I recall, 2892 is about 1 millimeter slimmer than a 2824. And you're getting a 56-hour power reserve. That's fantastic. Most basic movements in this price range, you're getting about a 40-hour power reserve, and that's not quite enough for a lot of people. 56 hours, that's a good amount. Now, here are my critiques, or what you could say my recommendations to Christopher Ward would be on this watch. Include at least one of the one of the additional rubber straps in the box at this price. I mean, we're talking basically $2,400. It's a lot of money. Give me a little piece of cheap fluoro rubber or a NATO Zulu strap. Make it even just 1.5 millimeters larger. Add a date complication. This movement can be ordered with a date complication, with a chronograph, with, I believe it could be ordered with a full calendar, if I'm not mistaken, day and date on wheels. But I know for certain that they offer this movement with a calendar. I'd like to have seen that. And I would also say offer a separate, even if it has to be a different name, stainless steel model that's $300 to $500 less. Listen, I don't want to say that this is worth $2,400, but it really is. Not only for its materials and its design and its execution, but in hand, this watch absolutely will stand toe-to-toe with brands like Omega, Breitling, high-end Seikos, the works. The finishing on this, the dial work, the luminescence, everything about this, all of the attention to detail and all of the comfort are all right here. Everything that you could possibly want. This is the perfect daily diver. Absolutely no way around it. It's so lightweight. It's so easy to wear. I think it's a very, very handsome look. I'm not a fan of the color dial they have, which I think was orange. I like the black and I like the blue. But the one color dial they made, it didn't really do it for me. Now there's many combinations. Now they're offering this same case head on rubber straps directly for a lower price. But I would tell you this, buy the bracelet version. It's only a little bit more. And then the straps are inexpensive. And you can very simply just squeeze these two little pins here. You've got quick release pins to pop the bracelet off and pop a strap on there like that. All in all, I think this is probably one of the best deals on the market today. And if I haven't convinced you enough, keep an eye out. You're going to start seeing it on my personal wrist as I'm reviewing other watches. This, by the way, is going to be coming up very, very soon. This is a brand new limited edition Aviate to commemorate the Pegasus engines made by Rolls-Royce that are used on the Harrier jet. Very slick and very cool watch there. This is going to be in my collection. There is absolutely no way around it. It has to be. But I'll say this, as soon as I sized it and I put it on and I came downstairs out of my studio, I shoved it under my wife's nose and went, "Hey, look at this." She goes, "Oh, it's so small." Really? Yeah. But it's been growing on me. And while I do look at it, when I look in the mirror and go, "Oh man, it really is kind of small," there are so many things that I like about this design that I might be willing to just overlook that. And that's a hard pill for me to swallow. But anyway, that's my review of the Christopher Ward C60 Trident Lumiere Swiss-made chronometer. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I sure have. I want to thank the kind folks over at Christopher Ward for trusting me with their most popular watch and sending it out to me all the way from London to let me check it out. They have been absolutely amazing to work with. Thank you guys so very much. They're so kind and so polite. And I don't know if that's just a British thing or if that's the specific individual that I'm dealing with, but so wonderful and so gracious for someone that they really didn't know in the beginning. And I appreciate that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Grab one for yourself. Try it. I promise you, it is going to blow your mind for the money that they charge. And I'll see you on the next video.